the actor who never smiled for the cameras until the black Intern. Jiwoo was the most famous young actor in Korea. Everywhere he went, cameras followed him like hungry birds looking for food. People said he was perfect, perfect skin, perfect voice, perfect acting, perfect face. But there was one thing everyone knew about him. Jiwoo never smiled for the cameras. Ever. Not during interviews. Not during fan meetings. Not during movie sets. Not even when someone cracked the funniest joke in the world. Many reporters tried to make him smile. Many fans begged. Some even cried. But Jiwoo only bowed politely and kept his cold, quiet face. People called him the ice actor. Jiwoo liked it that way. Smiling made him feel weak. He had learned long ago that smiling for people made them think they owned him, and Jiwoo hated that feeling more than anything. But one morning, something new happened on set. A bus from a small international student program arrived at Seoul Film Center. Inside was a group of interns ready to learn about movie production. Among them was a girl with smooth brown skin, bright eyes, and a warm smile that seemed to shine brighter than sunlight. Her name was Mary. When she stepped off the bus, she looked around with wonder, holding her notebook close to her chest. This was her first time in Korea. Everything was new, loud, exciting, and scary at the same time. She didn't know she was about to change someone's life. Jiwoo walked past the interns with his usual cold gaze. Everyone bowed deeply to him. Everyone stayed quiet. Everyone looked nervous. Everyone except Mary. She said, loud and cheerful, "Annyeong. Good morning." Jiwoo stopped. For the first time in years, he was surprised. Something warm, strange, and dangerous moved in his chest, something he didn't want to feel. He walked away quickly. But Mary watched him with curious eyes, not scared at all. She didn't know the cameras would soon catch something the whole country had never seen before. A tiny, almost invisible smile pulling at the corner of his lips. Mary didn't notice the almost smile. She was too busy looking around the studio like a kid inside a candy shop. Lights everywhere. Huge cameras. People in black shirts rushing around. Actors practicing lines. Directors shouting instructions. She wrote everything in her notebook. Today was her first day as an intern, and she promised herself she would work harder than everyone. Her teacher always said, "Mary, your smile makes people feel safe." She didn't know those words were about to be tested. Meanwhile, Jiwoo sat in his private waiting room. He could still hear Mary's cheerful "good morning" inside his head. Why did that voice sound like sunshine? Why did it make his heartbeat jump? He shook his head. "No, not again," he whispered. Feelings were dangerous. Warmth was dangerous. People were dangerous. He needed to stay cold. But outside the room, Director Kang was talking to the staff. "We have a problem," he said. "Our assistant script runner is sick. We need someone fast. That girl, Mary, she looks smart. Bring her." Mary followed the assistant to Jinwoo's room without knowing who she was about to face again. When she entered, Jiwoo looked up. Their eyes met. Mary smiled instantly, naturally. "Hello again." Jinwoo felt a shock inside his chest. No one ever talked to him like that. No fear. No trembling. No awkwardness. Just kindness. "Your job," the assistant said, handing Mary a thick script, "is to follow Jiwoo and help with his scenes." Mary bowed. "Yes, I will try my best." Jiwoo stood up slowly, studying her. "Can you keep up?" he asked in his cold voice. Mary nodded. "Of course." She didn't know Jiwoo was testing her. He always tried to scare new assistants away. But Mary wasn't scared. They walked to the set together. Every camera turned toward Jiwoo. He kept his usual stone-cold expression. Then Mary whispered beside him, "Your shoelace is dancing." Jiwoo looked down. His shoelace was indeed untied and flapping as he walked. Mary covered her mouth to hide her giggle. It didn't help. Jiwoo felt the corners of his lips twitch again. The camera caught it. A tiny smile. The smile that nobody had seen for years. People gasped. The staff stared. The recording team froze. Mary had no idea. She had just broken the ice actor's unbreakable rule. The video of Jinwoo's tiny smile spread across Korea in less than an hour. Jinwoo smiled. "Who is that girl beside him?" "The ice actor is melting." Find the intern. Meanwhile, Mary was busy carrying coffee, holding scripts, adjusting props, running errands, and helping actors rehearse. She didn't know she was already trending online. Jiwoo knew, and it scared him. He sat in his dressing room, staring at his reflection. Why did I smile? Why did she make me forget myself? He didn't understand, and he hated not understanding. So he made a decision. He would avoid Mary. Completely. But avoiding Mary turned out to be harder than fighting a dragon. Everywhere he went, she appeared. When he needed water, she arrived with a bottle. When he dropped a pen, she picked it up before he could bend down. When he forgot a line, she whispered it softly. Mary wasn't trying to be close. She was just doing her job with kindness, innocence, and a bright smile that seemed to follow him like a warm breeze. During one scene, Jiwoo was supposed to cry. He hated emotional scenes. He could never force tears out. The director yelled, "Cut," over and over again. Then Mary walked past him, carrying costumes. Her perfume drifted in the air, soft vanilla. Jiwoo blinked. A memory from his childhood rushed back. His older sister used to bake vanilla cookies when he was sad. She passed away years ago. Warmth, pain, softness. Before he knew it, a tear slid down his cheek. The whole room gasped. Director Kang shouted, "That was perfect." Jiwoo didn't understand what happened. But Mary saw the tear, and her eyes softened with concern. She stepped closer. "Are you okay?" Jiwoo opened his mouth to push her away, but the words didn't come. Something inside him whispered, "Stay." He hated that feeling. He loved that feeling. He didn't know which was stronger. That night, as Mary walked out of the studio, she felt someone watching her. Jiwoo stood on the balcony, hiding in the shadows. He didn't smile. He didn't speak. He just watched her leave, like someone trying to understand why the world suddenly felt different. The next morning, Jiwoo promised himself he would stay cold. He repeated the rule in his head. No smiles. No feelings. No weakness. But the moment Mary walked into the studio, carrying a big box of props, everything inside him broke again. She was struggling. The box was too heavy. She wobbled left and right. Jiwoo watched from across the hallway. His chest tightened. He wanted to help, but helping meant caring. Caring meant danger. Mary almost dropped the box, and Jiwoo moved before he could stop himself. He grabbed the box from her hands just in time. Mary looked up, surprised. "Oh, thank you, Jiwoo." He stiffened. "Be careful," he muttered. But Mary only smiled wider. "You're nicer than people think." Jiwoo froze. No one had ever said that to him. People usually called him cold, proud, scary, distant, unfriendly, or even heartless. But Mary saw something else. Something he didn't know was still inside him. "Let me help," she said, reaching for one side of the box. Their hands touched. A spark shot through him so strong he almost dropped everything. He quickly looked away, trying to breathe normally. Mary tilted her head. "Are you okay?" "No," Jiwoo whispered inside his mind. "Yes," he said out loud. They carried the box together, and Jiwoo walked faster so she wouldn't hear his heart pounding like a drum. During filming, the staff noticed something strange. Every time Mary came close, Jinwoo's eyes softened. His shoulders relaxed. His voice became gentle. But the moment she walked away, his cold mask returned. Later, during lunch break, Mary sat alone, eating kimbap quietly. Other interns were scared to approach her because rumors were spreading. "That's the girl who made Jiwoo smile. Stay away before fans attack us. She's too close to him." Mary didn't understand what she did wrong. But then someone sat in front of her. Jiwoo. He placed a warm soup in front of her. "You forgot to eat breakfast," he said softly. Mary blinked in surprise. How did you know?" "You looked tired." Mary smiled slowly. "Thank you." Jiwoo didn't respond. He only stared at her hands, the same hands that always moved with kindness, never fear. He didn't know why, but he wanted to protect those hands. And that feeling was growing too fast. The next week was full of surprises. First, the director announced a special behind-the-scenes video featuring Jiwoo and his new assistant. Jiwoo panicked inside. He didn't want cameras catching him acting strange around Mary, but he couldn't refuse. Mary was nervous too. Me? In a video? I'm just an intern. But the director waved his hand. You two look good for the camera. Jiwoo almost choked. Mary didn't notice. During the recording, the interviewer asked Jiwoo, "You never smile for the camera. Why is that?" Jiwoo opened his mouth. But Mary accidentally tripped on the microphone wire. She didn't fall because Jiwoo caught her waist before she hit the floor. The whole studio froze. Mary's face turned red. "I'm sorry." Jinwoo's ears turned red. "It's fine." The camera zoomed in on them. The interviewer gasped. "Is that a smile?" Jiwoo quickly looked away, but it was too late. He had smiled again. The video spread like wildfire. Fans screamed online. People made slow-motion edits. News headlines exploded. The intern who melts the ice actor. Mary felt overwhelmed. She wasn't used to attention. Everywhere she went, people whispered, pointed, or stared. One afternoon, she went to the rooftop for some quiet air. She didn't know Jiwoo followed her. He stepped beside her quietly. "Does the attention bother you?" Mary sighed. "A little. People are saying strange things." Jiwoo looked at her carefully. "Are you scared?" Mary shook her head. "No, just confused." Silence filled the air, soft and warm. Jiwoo spoke again, voice low. "It's not your fault." Mary turned to him. "Then whose fault is it?" Jiwoo hesitated. He touched his chest lightly. "Mine." Mary blinked. "Why?" Jinwoo's voice dropped even lower. "Because when you're around, I forget my rules." A soft breeze moved Mary's hair. Jiwoo stared at her, really stared, like he was seeing something he couldn't understand. Something he didn't want to lose. "I don't understand," Mary whispered. "Neither do I," Jiwoo replied. And for the first time in his life, he wished he understood his own heart. The next day brought trouble. Big trouble. A famous reporter, Ma Young-hee, came to the studio looking for gossip. She hated Jiwoo because he never gave interviews. When she saw Jiwoo walking beside Mary, she smiled like a wolf. So this is the girl," she said loudly. Mary bowed politely. "Nice to meet you." Ma Young-hee didn't bow back. "Are you trying to use Jiwoo for fame?" Mary's eyes widened. "What?" "No, I would never." But Ma Young-hee cut her off. "Interns usually stay far away from stars. But you? You're everywhere he goes. Don't you think that's suspicious?" Jiwoo stepped forward, voice sharp. "Stop." The reporter smirked. "Oh? Are you defending her?" "Yes," Jiwoo said without thinking. Mary froze. Everyone froze. Jiwoo had never defended anyone in public. Not once. Reporters pulled out cameras. Staff whispered. Interns stared with wide eyes. Ma Young-hee laughed. "Interesting. Very interesting." She walked away, already planning a story that would shake the internet. Mary stood quietly, her hands shaking. Jiwoo turned to her. "Are you hurt?" Mary looked up with shining eyes, not from pain, but from something deeper. "No. I've never had someone defend me like that." Jiwoo felt something twist inside his chest. "If anyone hurts you again, tell me." "Why?" Mary whispered. Jiwoo swallowed hard. He didn't know the answer yet, but he knew the feeling was growing stronger every second. Before he could speak, staff members called him to set. He walked away slowly, but his mind stayed with Mary. That evening, Mary sat alone in the dressing room organizing scripts. Suddenly, the door opened. Jiwoo stepped in. He placed a small red ribbon on the table. "For you," he said quietly. Mary picked it up, confused. "A hair ribbon?" "It's protection," Jiwoo muttered. Mary laughed softly. "How can a ribbon protect me?" Jiwoo looked away. "It will help me find you, if you're in trouble." Mary stopped laughing. Her heart beat once. Twice. Hard. "Thank you," she whispered. Jiwoo nodded and walked out, leaving Mary holding the ribbon like a secret gift she didn't understand yet. What neither of them knew was this. The real danger was only beginning, and the feelings between them were growing faster than either of them could control. The next morning, the studio buzzed with noise like a busy beehive. Everyone was talking about the reporter's article. He had posted a headline so loud it felt like thunder. The ice actor is protecting the intern. Is something happening behind the scenes? Mary held her phone with shaking hands. She didn't want attention. She didn't want people thinking she was using Jinwoo. She just wanted to work, learn, and help. Interns whispered when she passed. She must be special. Why is Jinwoo always looking at her? Maybe she's tricking him. Mary lowered her head. The words hurt more than she expected. But she didn't know Jinwoo was watching her from across the hallway. His eyes followed her every step, noticing the sadness on her face. He hated it. He hated seeing her hurt. When she went into a small storage room to get props, Jinwoo followed quietly and closed the door behind them. Mary jumped a little. "Oh, Jinwoo, you scared me." He stepped closer, trying to hide how worried he was. "You're upset." Mary swallowed. "People are talking. They think I'm doing something wrong." "You're not," Jinwoo said firmly. "But they think." "I don't care what they think." Mary blinked. "But I care." Jinwoo breathed in deeply. "Then listen to me. You did nothing wrong. I will handle everything." She stared at him. The cold actor who never smiled. The boy who lived behind walls so high no one could reach him. And here he was, trying to protect her like she was a treasure he couldn't lose. Her voice softened. "Why do you care so much?" Jinwoo looked away quickly. He didn't have the courage to answer truthfully. Silence filled the room. Then, without warning, someone grabbed the doorknob from the outside. Mary gasped. Jinwoo pulled her behind him instinctively. The door swung open, and a group of reporters flashed cameras at them. Jinwoo stepped in front of Mary like a shield, his eyes turning ice cold. "No pictures," he growled. But it was too late. The photos were taken, and the fire was starting to spread. The studio turned into chaos. Staff members rushed to push reporters out. Security guards yelled. The director screamed for everyone to get back to work. Mary stood frozen, feeling like the world had suddenly become too loud, too bright, too dangerous. Jinwoo grabbed her wrist and pulled her into a quiet hallway. Mary looked up at him with wide, scared eyes. "What's going to happen now?" Jinwoo's jaw tightened. "I'll fix it." "How?" Mary asked softly. Jinwoo didn't know. He had never cared about rumors or lies before. He had never protected anyone. He had never needed to. But Mary made him want to try. "Stay with me," he said. Mary blinked. "What?" "I mean, stay close. I can protect you better that way." Mary's heart jumped. She nodded slowly. "Okay." As they walked together, Jinwoo made sure she stayed on the inside of the hallway while he walked by the busy side where cameras might appear. He blocked her from view without even thinking about it. People watched with shocked expressions. The ice actor, caring for someone? Impossible. Unbelievable. But true. Later that day, during a big scene, Jinwoo was supposed to act angry toward another actor. But every time he looked at Mary holding the script boards, his expression softened. The director shouted, "Cut." "Jinwoo, you're too gentle today." The staff exchanged glances. One whispered, "He's different around her." Another replied, "He's human around her." Mary heard everything and felt heat rise to her cheeks. She didn't want to cause trouble for Jinwoo. She didn't want to make him look weak. During break time, she approached him. "Jinwoo." He looked up. "Yes, I think maybe. I'm making things harder for you." Jinwoo stepped closer, eyes intense. "You make nothing harder. But you make things better." Mary froze. Her chest felt warm. Her throat felt tight. No one had ever said something so gentle to her before, not with that voice, that seriousness, that quiet softness. Then Jinwoo added something that made her knees weak. "When you're nearby, it feels easier to breathe." Mary didn't understand how someone could look cold, but speak like sunlight. But Jinwoo understood something dangerous. He was falling. Fast. That evening, Mary stayed late to organize costumes. She hummed softly to herself, a tune from home, warm and calming. Jinwoo was secretly watching from the doorway. He didn't mean to spy. He just felt drawn to her. Like she was a lamp in a dark room he had lived in too long. Suddenly, Mary climbed a small stool to reach a high shelf. She stretched her arm too far. The stool slipped. Mary gasped. Jiwoo ran so fast the wind followed him. He caught her mid-fall, his hands around her back, her arms around his shoulders. For a moment, neither moved. They were too close, too warm, too connected. Mary's breath trembled. Jinwoo's heart pounded against his chest like a drum. "Are you okay?" he whispered, voice shaking slightly. Mary nodded, her eyes locked with his. "Yes, thanks to you." Jiwoo didn't put her down immediately. He couldn't. It felt too right holding her. But then he realized what he was doing and quickly helped her stand. Mary looked at him shyly. "You're always saving me." Jinwoo shook his head. "I'm not. He stopped, unable to finish. "You just what?" Mary asked gently. Jinwoo took a breath, his voice low. "I just can't let you get hurt." Mary's heartbeat sped up. "Why?" His answer almost slipped out. "Because you matter. Because I feel something. Because you're breaking my walls. Because you're becoming too important." But Jinwoo wasn't ready. Not yet. He turned away. No reason. Mary watched him silently. But she knew there was a reason. And she knew it was growing stronger. That night, Jiwoo went home and stared at his ceiling. He remembered the warmth of Mary's hands, the sound of her voice, the way she trusted him without fear. He covered his face with his pillow. "What is happening to me?" For the first time in years, Jiwoo didn't sleep easily. Not because he was scared, because he was feeling too much. The next morning, Jiwoo arrived early, something he never did. He waited near the entrance, hands in his pockets, heart beating too fast. He wasn't waiting for the director. He wasn't waiting for staff. He was waiting for Mary. When she arrived, she gasped. "Jiwoo? You're early." He looked away to hide the soft look on his face. "I needed fresh air." Mary smiled. "Me too." They walked together inside, side by side, quietly but comfortably. Jiwoo didn't realize how natural it was until a wardrobe assistant whispered to another. "They're close. Closer than anyone has ever been to him." Mary heard the whispers and looked down shyly. Jiwoo heard them and glared until everyone looked away. He didn't like people talking. He didn't like attention. But strangely, he didn't want Mary to walk far away from him either. Later, during a break, Mary practiced reading a script out loud. Her voice was soft and gentle. Jiwoo sat nearby pretending to look at his phone, but he was really listening to her. As she read, she mispronounced a Korean word and giggled. "Oh no, that was wrong." Jiwoo found himself smiling, actually smiling, watching her. Mary didn't see it, but someone else did. Hannah, an actress who liked Jiwoo for years. She watched them from across the room, jealousy burning like a fire. Why was Jiwoo smiling at the intern? Why was he helping her? Why was he suddenly warm? Hannah clenched her fists. She wasn't going to let some foreign girl take the boy she had chased for so long. Later, she approached Mary with a fake sweet smile. "You must be the intern everyone is talking about." Mary nodded politely. "Yes, I'm Mary." "I heard Jiwoo is very fond of you," Hannah said, eyes gleaming. Mary blinked. "And no, he's just..." Hannah leaned in closer. "Be careful. Fans don't like girls near him. They can be cruel." Mary froze. Hannah walked away, her smile finally turning into a smirk. Mary felt a cold wave wash over her. For the first time since coming to Korea, she felt afraid. Mary tried to work normally, but Hannah's words kept echoing in her mind. "Fans can be cruel. Be careful. Jinwoo is fond of you." Mary wasn't scared of fans. She was scared of hurting Jinwoo's career. She didn't want to cause problems. She didn't want people attacking him because of her. But the world didn't wait. When she checked her phone during lunch break, she froze. A message from an unknown number. "Stay away from Jiwoo." Another. "You're ruining him." Mary felt her throat tighten. More messages came rapidly. "You're using him. You don't belong here. He doesn't need you. Leave before things get worse." Her hands shook. She dropped her phone. At that exact moment, Jiwoo entered the room to look for her. He noticed her pale face, trembling hands, and wide eyes. His chest tightened instantly. "Mary? What happened?" Mary wiped her eyes quickly. "And nothing." Jiwoo stepped closer. Someone said something to you. I'm fine, she whispered. Mary. His voice softened. Look at me. Slowly, she did. The sadness in her eyes made something inside Jiwoo crack open like glass breaking. He picked up her phone and saw the messages flash across the screen. His expression changed. His eyes turned sharp. Cold. Angry. It was a kind of anger he had not shown in years. Who sent these? He asked, voice low. I don't know, she said softly. Please, don't get angry. I don't want trouble. Jinwoo shook his head. You are not the problem. They are. Mary lowered her head. Maybe I should stay away from you. Jinwoo grabbed her shoulders gently but firmly. No. She gasped softly. No, he repeated. You stay with me. Mary blinked. But I don't want distance, Jinwoo said. I want you close. Mary's heart pounded. But before she could answer, Director Kang shouted from the hallway, Jiwoo. We need you on set. Jiwoo looked at her one more time, his eyes speaking the words he couldn't yet say aloud. Then he walked away with his heart still tied to Mary's. Mary watched him go, and she realized something terrifying. She didn't want distance either. The shooting schedule grew heavier. Big scenes, emotional scenes, action scenes, everything piled up like mountains. But Jiwoo wasn't worried about acting anymore. He was worried about Mary. He noticed she stayed quiet, smiled less, and kept her distance from people. She worked hard, but her energy felt different. Dimmer. Sadder. One evening, after everyone left, Jiwoo found Mary alone in the practice room, folding costumes slowly, her eyes tired. He walked in quietly. You're still here. Mary looked up. I'm almost done. You should go home. I will, she said softly. Soon. But Jiwoo didn't move. He watched her hands folding fabric gently, almost like she was trying to calm her own heart with every crease. Mary, he whispered. She paused. Why are you avoiding me? Her fingers froze on the cloth. I'm not. You are. Mary looked away. I just don't want to cause trouble. You're not. But everyone thinks. I don't care what everyone thinks, Jiwoo said firmly. Mary sighed. But I care. I came here to learn, not to make problems, and maybe I'm making too many. Jiwoo stepped closer, his shadow falling over her gently. You are not a problem, he said. You're the only thing that feels right lately. Mary's breath caught. Jiwoo continued, voice quiet but honest. When you smile, I feel warm. When you're sad, I feel angry. When you're far away, I feel empty. Mary's heart thumped. I don't want you to go, he said. Not even one step. Silence filled the room. Mary's voice trembled softly. Jinwoo, why do you feel that way? His answer was whisper soft. I don't know yet, but I want to understand. And I want you beside me while I figure it out. Mary felt her eyes water, not from sadness, but from a feeling too warm to name. Before she could speak, a loud bang echoed outside the room. They both jumped. Someone had dropped a camera on purpose. Hannah stood in the hallway, watching them through the open door. Her eyes cold, her jealousy burning, and in her hand was her phone recording. Hannah slipped her phone into her pocket the moment she saw Jiwoo turn toward the door. She pretended to be surprised. Oh, I didn't know anyone was here, she said with a fake smile. Mary felt her stomach twist. She stepped away from Jiwoo quickly, but he stepped slightly forward, as if to block Hannah's view of her. What do you want? Jiwoo asked coldly. Hannah put her hands behind her back. Director Kang said he needs you for a rehearsal. I came to find you. Jiwoo didn't move. He didn't trust her smile. You can tell him I'm coming, he said. Hannah's eyes flicked to Mary. You should be careful, she said sweetly. People misunderstand what they see. Jiwoo narrowed his eyes. What are you implying? Nothing, Hannah said with a shrug. Just trying to protect you. Then she looked at Mary. Some people don't belong close to you. Mary's breath caught in her throat. Before Jiwoo could reply, Hannah hurried away, leaving the door open. As soon as she disappeared, Jiwoo looked at Mary with worry. Are you okay? Mary nodded weakly, but inside her chest everything felt heavy. Jiwoo repeated softly, you're safe. Don't let her words get inside your mind. Mary hugged her arms around herself. I'm not scared of her, she whispered. I'm scared of hurting you. You're not hurting me, Jiwoo said immediately. But she's watching us. Others too. What if? Mary, Jiwoo said, stepping closer. You're not the danger. You're the only thing that feels good in my life right now. Mary's heart fluttered painfully, beautifully. But before she could answer, Jinwoo's phone buzzed loudly. He looked down and froze. A notification flashed across his screen. Breaking news, the ice actor and the foreign intern? Secret night meetings caught on camera. Jiwoo opened it slowly. And there it was. A blurry photo of him holding Mary after she fell from the stool. The angle made it look like they were hugging. Mary's eyes widened. Oh no. Jinwoo clenched his jaw. Someone leaked this. Mary shook her head. I didn't do anything. I know, Jiwoo said. But someone wants to ruin you. He didn't say the name. Hannah. But he thought it. And his anger grew darker. The rumor exploded through the internet like fire in dry grass. Comments poured in under the news post. Who is she? She's using him. He never smiles. Why is he smiling at her? She's ruining his career. This girl needs to leave our oppa alone. Mary read a few lines and felt her stomach twist painfully. Jiwoo immediately took her phone away. Stop. Don't read these. But they're all talking about you. I don't care, he snapped. Then his voice softened. I care about you. Mary's eyes watered. She didn't want to cry. She wanted to be strong. But the comments felt like needles poking her heart. Later that day, the manager pulled Jiwoo aside. Jiwoo, this is bad, he said. Your image is in danger. Fans are upset. Reporters are everywhere outside. So what? Jiwoo said, crossing his arms. The manager stared at him. So what? You're the country's top actor. You can't be involved in scandals, especially with an intern. Jinwoo's jaw tightened. She hasn't done anything wrong. It doesn't matter, the manager said. People believe what they see, not the truth. Jiwoo wanted to punch something. The manager continued, do you want to protect her? Yes, Jiwoo said without hesitation. Then you need to stay away from her. Jiwoo froze. Distance will calm the fans, the manager explained. If you're seen with her again, her life will become harder. Maybe even dangerous. Jinwoo's heart felt like it was being squeezed. He didn't want to stay away. But he also didn't want Mary to get hurt. He walked into the dressing room where Mary was fixing props. She looked up and smiled a little, though sadness still hid in her eyes. Jiwoo, she said softly. He didn't know what to say. So he said the one thing he never wanted to say. Mary, maybe we should keep some distance for a while. Mary froze. A silence louder than thunder filled the room. Oh, she whispered. I understand. But she didn't. Her chest felt suddenly empty, like all the air had escaped. Jiwoo saw the pain on her face and instantly hated himself. He stepped forward, then stopped himself, remembering the manager's warning. I'm doing this to protect you, he said quietly. Mary nodded, but tears formed in her eyes. She turned away before he could see them fall. Jiwoo walked out slowly, each step feeling heavier than the last. And Mary stayed in the room, clutching a prop box, trying not to cry. The days that followed were quiet. Too quiet. Mary worked hard, smiling politely, helping everyone, but her voice no longer had its warm music. She avoided crowds. She avoided cameras. And she avoided Jiwoo. Not because she wanted to, because she thought she should. Jiwoo watched her from afar, his chest twisting every time she laughed with someone else or bowed politely to him instead of smiling. He hated the distance. He hated the silence. He hated that he caused both. During a rehearsal, Jiwoo messed up his lines 3 times in a row. The director shouted, Jiwoo, what is wrong with you today? Everyone stared. Jiwoo forced himself to focus, but his mind kept drifting to Mary, who was standing near the back, holding cue cards with her head lowered. When filming ended for the day, Jiwoo found her in the hallway. Mary. She stopped but didn't turn. How have you been? He asked quietly. I'm fine, she said softly. Her voice sounded like she was trying not to break. Jiwoo stepped closer. You're not fine. Mary's fingers tightened around the papers she held. You told me we needed distance. I'm giving you that. Jiwoo swallowed hard. I didn't want distance. I wanted to protect you. Mary finally turned. Her eyes were shiny, her voice shaky. But who protects me from the distance? Jinwoo's heart dropped to the floor. He took a slow breath. Mary, I don't know how to handle this. I've never cared about someone like this before. I don't know the rules. I don't know what to say or do. You don't need rules, Mary said softly. You just need honesty. Jiwoo stared at her. He wanted to pull her close. Tell her everything. Tell her she mattered. Tell her she was the only person who made him feel human. But before he could speak, Hannah appeared from behind a corner. Oh wow, she said loudly. So much for distance. Mary stepped back immediately. Jiwoo glared at Hannah. But Hannah only smirked. It's fine, she said. The truth will come out soon anyway. Jiwoo didn't like her tone. What truth? Hannah smiled sweetly. You'll see. And she walked away. Mary and Jiwoo exchanged worried glances. Something dangerous was coming. The next morning, everything exploded. A new article appeared online. Leaked video. Jin was secretly meeting Intern late at night. Mary gasped when she saw the video clip. Her hands shook. Her knees weakened. It was footage of her falling from the stool and Jinwoo catching her, but from the angle and editing, it looked like a secret embrace. And the timestamp made it seem like it happened late at night. But Mary knew they had filmed that scene at 6 p.m. Someone had changed the time. Someone had edited the clip. Someone wanted to destroy her. Or destroy Jinwoo. Or both. The director stormed into the studio. Who recorded this? Who leaked this? Everyone looked around nervously. Mary stood in the corner, tears forming in her eyes. Suddenly, Jinwoo walked in. He had seen the video too. He marched straight to Mary, ignoring everyone. Are you okay? He asked, breathless. Mary shook her head. No, I didn't do anything. I swear, Jinwoo, I didn't. He put a hand on her shoulder gently. I know. I trust you. His voice was strong, firm, honest. Everyone stared. When Jinwoo said he trusted someone, he meant it. Mary covered her face, overwhelmed by everything. The manager pulled Jinwoo aside. This is bad. Really bad. You need to stay far away from her. No, Jiwoo said simply. You don't understand. No, Jiwoo repeated, his voice sharp as ice. I'm not leaving her alone. The manager froze. Jiwoo turned back to Mary. But before he could reach her, a voice echoed across the room. Maybe she shouldn't be here at all. Everyone turned. Hannah stood with her arms crossed, watching them coldly. Mary stepped back. Jiwoo stepped forward. What are you talking about? He demanded. Hannah smiled. Maybe she should go back home. She's bringing too much trouble. Jinwoo's eyes darkened. Mary stays. Hannah raised a brow. Oh? Even after seeing the video? Jinwoo glared. I know she didn't leak it. Really? Hannah said sweetly. Then who did? Silence. Mary's heart thumped painfully. For the first time, she felt truly unwelcome. And Hannah saw the fear in Mary's eyes and smiled wider. Mary stayed behind after the meeting, trying to breathe, trying to stay strong. She cleaned props slowly, her hands trembling. She didn't want Jiwoo to get hurt because of her. She didn't want this job to slip away. She didn't want to leave Korea. But everything was getting worse. When she left the studio that evening, the sky was dark. She wrapped her arms around herself and walked toward the bus stop. She didn't notice the black van slowly following her. She didn't notice the shadows moving behind her. But Jiwoo noticed. From across the street, he watched her walking alone, small and quiet against the night. He had followed her secretly, not to stalk her, but to protect her. He had seen the hateful comments. He had seen the edited video. He had seen the way fans waited outside with angry signs. He didn't trust anyone anymore. As Mary walked, her phone buzzed. A message. We warned you. Her breath caught. She heard footsteps behind her. She turned slowly. But before anything could happen, Jiwoo appeared beside her suddenly, his hand grabbing hers tightly. Mary gasped. Jiwoo, come with me, he said. He pulled her close, keeping her behind him as the van slowed down beside them. Jiwoo glared at the windows. Try it, he muttered under his breath. The van sped away quickly. Mary held Jinwoo's sleeve with shaking fingers. Were they following me? Yes, Jiwoo said softly. That's why you shouldn't be alone. Mary's eyes watered. I'm scared. Jinwoo cupped her face gently with both hands. I know. And I'm here. Mary leaned her forehead against his chest, feeling his heartbeat steady and warm. Jiwoo wrapped his arms around her protectively, holding her like she was the most important thing in the world. For a moment, nothing existed but the two of them. The night had been long, but morning came softly, painting the sky with gold. Mary stood on the rooftop garden where everything had changed between them. The wind brushed her braids gently, carrying the quiet sounds of the waking city. She didn't hear Jiwoo walk up behind her, but she felt him. His presence was always warm now, no longer cold, no longer distant. Slowly, he stepped beside her. His hands were in his pockets, his hair a little messy, and his eyes softer than she had ever seen. Mary looked up at him. You came, she said quietly. Jiwoo swallowed. I thought, maybe you wouldn't want to see me. I was waiting, she whispered. The wind blew between them, but their hearts stayed close. I used to follow rules, Jiwoo said. Rules that kept me safe. Rules that kept me alone. He looked down, his voice low. But then you came, and suddenly the world stopped feeling so cold. Mary felt her heart thump with a warm ache. You made me smile without even trying, he continued. You made me forget every rule I ever made for myself. She blinked, her eyes softening. And now, he breathed out shakily. I don't want to run from my feelings anymore. Mary turned fully toward him. Then don't. Jinwoo's eyes searched hers, nervous, hopeful, scared, brave, all at once. I like you, Mary, he said, finally letting the truth fall out. More than I have ever liked anyone in my life. Her breath caught. The words felt like a dream she never thought he would say. I tried to fight it, he admitted. I tried pretending you didn't matter to me. But you do. You do so much. Mary's chest filled with warmth that reached all the way to her fingertips. I like you too, Jiwoo, she said softly. I've liked you from the moment you showed me that small, secret smile. The one you didn't want anyone to see. He let out a shaky laugh. And then, slowly, carefully, as if holding something precious, Jiwoo reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. Their fingers locked together perfectly, like they were meant to. Jiwoo stepped closer. Mary looked up, her heart beating like a drum. Stay with me, he whispered. Not as an intern. Not as a rule breaker. As the person who makes me feel alive. Her lips curved into a soft smile that made his heart melt completely. I'm not going anywhere, she replied. The sunrise grew brighter, spreading soft gold across their faces. Jiwoo lifted her hand and pressed it gently against his chest, where his heartbeat raced wildly for her. Mary felt it. He didn't hide it. For the first time ever, Jiwoo didn't smile for the cameras. He smiled for her. A real smile. A warm smile. A forever kind of smile. And Mary knew she had changed him. Not with force, not with rules, but with kindness, courage, and a heart that saw through his walls. Together, they stood on the rooftop, hand in hand, hearts finally open. And just like that, their story, strong, beautiful, and full of love, began. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe.